You can see Parliament is here. The army is here. But as the President always says, there were 6 batches in the NRA. Now, his group is unfortunately not here. Maybe Afande Tumkunde, who will be with us in Kashari, and General Muntu was at the vigil, but he'll also be in Kashari. So I don't have anybody to come and talk in terms of in that group of his that could tell his story regards to the army. But he had given me some wishes that he wanted. And one of them was for Uncle Savit Mzee to come and speak on his behalf. Uncle Savit Mzee is what Daddy wanted in the essence of the professional army. If you know Major General Savit Mzee, it doesn't get better than that in terms of discipline, organization.
He lived a life on the streets. He lived his life out in the street, in the halls and corridors of Parliament, in his village, in the hard decisions, in the truth he chose to speak, even when it was not popular to speak it. But John will always come and tell you, this is the thing. So he lived for the Lord outside the walls, the 4 walls of church. He stood up for the weak. He spoke boldly in the face of injustice. And he refused to sit back and watch Uganda slide into fear, silence, and control. That is John. And we need men and women like that. Use your platform. Be a blessing to others. So our deeds follow us, as it were, in heaven. So John is arrested. And friends, may God help us. And then the last one, he says their deeds will follow them. Their deeds will follow them. We are told in this scripture that the dead are blessed because they rest from their labor. And their deeds will follow them. What does that mean? First of all, their deeds follow them into heaven. The scripture tells us that we will be judged according to what we have done. There is no way we will escape that. So we have to be mindful of our actions and our deeds. If they are not pleasing in the sight of God, let us leave those aside. Because God is going to use those actions, those works, and those deeds to judge us. We will be judged. Have we encouraged other people like John did? Have we helped the less fortunate? Have we been giving? Those things will be rewarded when we make it to heaven. So sometimes we think it is just a matter of standing up and saying, I am born again. No! Even your actions, your deeds must reflect that you're born again. In Revelation chapter 14, verses 7 to 8 says, for none, Romans is the same, the first reading we had. For none of us lives for ourselves alone, and none of us dies for ourselves alone. If we live for the Lord, and if we die for the Lord.
Institution of Parliament Titi, thank you so much. And you extend my appreciation to the Right Honorable Speaker. She was at home, she came, and she told me that she will not be able to be with us, but Titi will be here. I call him Titi. Titi is my personal friend, and he calls John uncle, and we've known each other way back. So that institution helped. Even when you hear us traveling, they actually use their personal, these speakers use their personal money, because Parliament does not have money to give to your spouse or your children. So, but they would assist me as friends and friends of John, and helped. Then also the institution of UPDF. You people, these people, UPDF, you see it, they cannot forget their own. This is what I've read, this is what I've seen in his sickness. They cannot forget, they respect, and they do a lot. When anything happens, I said, your soldier is not well. And you see them working around. General Nareiso, through the PS of defense, we were in Turkey and I got stuck. And I said, what do I do? Then I called Honorable Sarah. Very good mother. I had a chance to be with her. And I think some of this stubbornness, it came from the mother. One time the mother, you know, John, when he came from the bush, of course, he introduced President Museveni now, and those people were UPC. So he told his mother, now, you have to be, and this and leave this UPC. So after some time, when things fell apart, he now brought message. And then the old mother said, nga wankabya okandetera President Museveni hata akawira hokire kaji kandi waleta message. Where some people wonder how we manage, because even in politics, two politicians to be in one house, if you know politicians, how they behave. And to make matters worse, it reached a point he belonged to one party, another one, I belonged to another one. But we were living in one roof. So these children are the ones who would also wonder how. They would times ask, how? Mommy this, but daddy this. But it's because of how understanding he was, and probably how I also understood how life should be. That even if you don't agree to certain issues, it should not separate you or separate you from being a friend. It is a tendency at times in this country, when one belongs to another party, another one belongs, so is regarded as an enemy. It shouldn't be an enemy. So I think John and I, we demystified that. And we lived fairly well. I lived in a house of, as you heard, 4 boys. I was the only a woman, and only a girl in the house. But they were all good to me, I should say. Until one day, when I got another girl in the names of Winnie here, she's now supporting me. But besides that, John had love for certain things. And one of them is loving children of his family. So we are talking of these 4, but I want to tell you there were many, and all of them, most of them called him daddy, daddy. It would be difficult to say uncle. Well, some would say uncle. Those who would say uncle were also children like those of TT, those of Speaker Anita Mong, uncle, most of them. But all those children of the bigger family, he loved them, and they also loved him. And actually, he went ahead and loved even the families that are related or around the family, like extended families, where these children have gone for marriage, and even him, where he had married, because these first children, Arnold and Asimwe.
What Uncle John did for this country when we were at the home for the vigil. And I think, Afande Sabit, we have a task, because some of us never lived through those hard times. You know, we were lucky enough to not pass through those hard times. We were born after. And now here we are. We look at the country differently. The parameters of what influences us in terms of the decisions we make, is totally different from the parameters of those days. And it might make even some of us forget that the foundation we are standing on was built on sacrifices, pain, and blood of the people who went to liberate this country. So it will be very, very important to bring our colleagues on board, the Arbatis on board, who never faced hard times as a country, which the country faced. Hard times of even knowing that sugar was rationed. Nowadays we are told that sugar is bad for you. So you would ask, but we are told we shouldn't be drinking sugar. Why were you lining up for it? Uncle Katebe, when I usually go home and we are talking, and he tells you a story of how he had to go through lobbying and all that to get soda for his wedding, beer for the wedding. You apply, you rob it through friends, and now we are told beer is bad. Other day, my dear wife annoyed our son, and when he was crying annoyed, he said, I'm going to report you to teacher that you are drinking soda. Because they are told that soda is bad. But those days you had to lobby to get a bottle of soda. So the hard times the seniors went through, I think it is a challenge to we, the young generation, that we should always respect and pay tribute to these senior leaders who sacrificed and liberated this country, wherever they are. Wherever they are. No matter whether they are in government, whether they are not in government, because, we have adrenaline. We can easily jump and look at a senior leader, say, you're destroying a country, you're rooting a country, you're killing a country, not knowing if they had not done whatever they did at that time, there wouldn't be any country. And also a lesson to us that comrades stand by each other. When yesterday I gave my journey of how I participated in the formation of FDC, and then later on moved on to another chapter. None of these senior people judged me? None. And even take it further, Uncle John, for him, he called me and said, Tayewa, now, what has happened? Then I reminded him, I said, but Uncle John, this was around 2015. And I said, but Uncle John, in 2010, I printed your campaign posters. I also printed those ones of Aunt Naomi. You came, you carried posters of FDC which belonged to you in the same car with posters of NRM which belonged to Naomi. So what's wrong? It's about a country. It's about the destination that we are looking at, where Uganda should go. So some of us might pass via NRM, others might pass via FDC, others might pass via NUP, but what is critical is where the country is going. I think the prize is Uganda. The prize is Uganda. When you go personal, you've lost it. And I think that's why when you look into this church, even people who have spoken, you see John has been a unifying factor because he doesn't judge people because of the political destination they've taken, but rather he considered the country first. And I really want to thank you, Uncle John. Uncle John.
His legacy is not... His legacy is not only what he has left behind or his accomplishments through his life, but also what he's breathed into the future through the lessons he's taught us. The foundations he laid for the many futures that have been built and are still being built remain strong and steadfast. So in the same breath, we shall be strong because he was first. While there are many things I could say, this small excerpt is one of many great lessons I learned and I'm still learning from him. Character. And to be more specific, who you are as a person. As we all know, diamonds are made from pressure, so the question he made me ask myself was, would you stand for what's right, even when all things are against you? Will you have the strength to remain true to your obligations and to push through all the barriers set in front of you, no matter how tough it might be?